first things you might get asked a question on is utility, and utility equals satisfaction. And the aim is to maximise your satisfaction. Given a table like this with the quantity consumed, total utility is your aggregate satisfaction. Your marginal utility is your extra satisfaction from consuming one additional unit. So going through here, this column should have the number 100, 80, and working our way backwards here, if it's adding an extra 50 on, then the total satisfaction would be 230. We use this table to do a demand schedule using MU. The quantities stay the same, and the price is taken from the MU column. So the consumer would be willing to pay how much for the first Christmas tree? $100. The second Christmas tree, because he gets less satisfaction, he's willing to pay $80. And the third Christmas tree, because he's getting less satisfaction again, he'd be willing to pay $50. So the ideas that we cover are, as you consume extra units, your total utility will increase, but at a decreasing rate. We call that the law of diminishing marginal utility. And the optimum purchase rule is that consumers will purchase up to a point where the price equals MU. And consumers, rational consumers, will only purchase additional units at a lower price. Over here, types of market structures. This one here is called perfect competitors. They are price takers and must accept the ruling market price. The example we use are Christmas tree sellers. See them all around Christmas time selling Christmas trees. Features are many firms, no barriers to entry, perfect knowledge, and they sell a homogeneous or identical product. Labelling their revenue curves, we see that AR equals P equals D equals MR. And over here, if it's not a perfect competitor, to sell an additional unit, the firms must lower price. We call these types of firms imperfect competition. Now, because they sell, to sell an additional unit must lower the price, the AR is greater than the MR, or the MR is less than the AR. When we draw these curves, the one that's closer to the origin is MR. The one that's further out is AR equals P equals D. Now to draw it correctly, the MR is half of the AR, or the AR is twice the MR. The different types of imperfect competitors are monopolistic, that has these features, many firms, weak barriers to entry, differentiated product, and a common example used is hairdressers and dairies. An oligopoly, again, imperfect competitor, few in number, strong barriers to entry, some control over the price, and we think of firms such as banking and the petrol industry in New Zealand. A duopoly, it's a type of oligopoly, but it only has two firms and similar features, Telecom and Vodafone being a good example. And the last type of imperfect competitor, monopoly or monopolist. It means one seller, strong barriers to entry with no close substitutes. Examples, Transrail and New Zealand Steel. And the final one, monopsony, is one buyer instead of one seller of a good or service, e.g. New Zealand Rugby Football Union or Fonterra. A table like this, you might see AR. We ask to complete and then indicate whether it's perfect or imperfect, and the reason why. Doing the price column, pretty straightforward because AR equals price. So this is 250, 210 and 390. So price equals AR. Looking at this one here, we tell the first one, is it perfect or imperfect? It is imperfect. It's imperfect because
AR is greater than MR.
AR is greater than MR. And the next one, reading across 210, 210, 210, we know that therefore it has to be a perfect competitor because
AR equals MR.
AR equals MR. And the last one, 390 for the price and AR, the MR is 410. So we say that this is
Impossible.
impossible. Cannot be possible because the AR is less than the MR, or the MR is greater than the AR. We have price competition and non-price competition. The basic difference is over here it's strategies to increase sales and market share by cutting the price, e.g. discounts, buy one get one free, sales and trade-ins. It can result in a price war and revenue may fall and market share stay the same. Over here they do not involve strategies to cut price, e.g. advertising, location, service and competitions and sponsorship. This sort of strategy will avoid price wars but can increase a firm's cost. Now on a firm's cost we've got either accounting costs or your economic costs. Your accounting costs are the actual costs or explicit costs involved. Your economic costs include those accounting costs as well as the opportunity costs of alternative resource use. So someone that starts up a business, their economic costs are things like the lost wages they could have got in some other occupation, or the lost interest they may have got on funds that they put into their business rather than an account. Working our way across here with the cost structure for firms, this is fixed cost, variable cost, total costs. Now your total costs equal FC plus VC. Your AC, sometimes called your ATC, is worked out by taking your TC and dividing it by Q, and your AFC is your average fixed cost, therefore we take our fixed cost and divide it by Q. Average variable costs, we take our variable costs and divide by Q. And the last one, the marginal cost, how would you work that one out? Well, TC2 minus TC1. Looking at the way that they are drawn, our fixed costs, they're independent of output, so it would be drawn as a line like that, with an FC there. Costs that don't change as your output changes, things like rates and your rent that are fixed. These here, these variable costs, you may note that I start them off in C. We say over here MC falls due to efficient resource use and increasing returns to a factor. And then when MC starts to rise, we say MC rises due to diminishing returns. Going through and labelling up this diagram,